One thing that you all would have also experienced is that we learn a lot from good words, good advices, but actions speak much more than the words. And so, when you are trying to help your children in these difficult times, the best thing that you can do is, and the most powerful thing is, to be a good role model, because your actions will speak much, much more than your words. Now, what do we mean by being a good role model? A good role model is someone, that who sort of displays the behavior, the demeanor, the personality that they are expecting the child or the adolescent to have. Meaning that if we are telling our children or our adolescents that you should not be stressed, you should stay calm, there's nothing to worry about, it becomes much more important that that worry should not reflect on our face, that scare, that doom, that sadness should not be there on our face. So that's why it's most important to first of all take care of uh, to have a very good schedule, to to divide your day between work, relaxation, and taking care of the children, so that ultimately you can stand in front of them as a firm, reassuring, in control and calm figure, something that's really unwavering. And so that you won't have to say that you need to be calm. When they see you that you are calm, they will automatically draw this inspiration from you, that yes, because emotions, believe you me, emotions are as infectious as COVID-19. Meaning that if you are calm, they'll be calm. If you are agitated, they'll be agitated. So that's the that's, I think, the foundation, that we need to take care of ourselves. We need to be calm so that we can motivate them through our demeanor to be calm. Uh, the, the second thing, because I believe that that this that we are specifically focusing here on children who are, I think, 15 to 16-year old. And so these children, they also have a very good aptitude at this age for introspection and for thinking deeply. And I think it's very important that you encourage them to introspect deeply on if there's anything bothering them. And by introspection, what I mean is that whenever there's something like this, whenever there's something happening in the outside environment which seems so scary, the our automatic reaction is that we are also very, very scared, and so the children are also very, very scared, or they are upset, or they are agitated. So it's very important that you make them sit down calmly, and you ask them that what is it that you are going through, and let them tell you in as many words as they want to of what they are going through. And when they are done, and when you have understood that that what they are going through, then you can encourage them to introspect that how bad the situation really is. Meaning, that there may be something wrong in the outside situation, but we also add a lot, from our own mind, from our own emotions, from our own, memories, and we make the situation appear much, much more difficult than what it really is. And in fact, a very renowned spiritual master, Sri Aurobindo, he once said a very beautiful line. He said, "The difficulty of the difficulties is self-created." Meaning that yes, there may be a difficulty in your life, But because of our own panic, because of our own inability to think straight, we make it much, much more severe. So what's really important is that you encourage them to introspect that how bad the situation really is. That is it really so bad? Is it really so difficult? I think for people like us, who have like who have like who have homes, who have something meaningful to do in the day, who have some entertainment, the situation is really not so bad. And that must be kind of they need to be encouraged to change their perception. And if they tell you, because children that age would really tell you that, oh, I'm really frustrated sitting inside. I've been sitting inside and inside for 2 months and it's very frustrating. So you can also encourage them to tolerate frustration. Yes, uh, you won't believe that, this ability to tolerate frustration is very, very crucial to healthy growth and development. Just like we go in gym and we pick up heavy weights to build strong muscles. If we can stay calm during the frustrations of life, that builds your mental stamina. That makes you very robust from within, so that whenever anything comes, you can face it very boldly, very calmly, and you don't fall into pieces. So you need to tell them that that this is also the time to build this frustration tolerance. Take it, encourage them to take it as a challenge, to think of ways in which they can you know in which they can engage meaningfully, make the best use of their time, think something new, think something out of the box that they can do with, themselves, their time, with the family as a whole during this time, and tell them that yes, that this phase will sooner or later go away. We will have more or less normal times. Uh, as I said, that another thing that we all need to do as a family during these times is to spend a day meaningfully, because that really helps us, get that positive, you know, feeling from a day. Because, see, it's very easy that when you are at home, your sleeping patterns get disturbed, your eating times get disturbed, there are many times when you just sit and you pass time. You are on the cell phone, or you are, watching television, and then it just spills into minutes, and then minutes spills into hours, and then you realize that, oh my god, the whole day has just gone like this, and now what to do? It's very important that you kind of do this, and you encourage the children to spend their day as meaningfully as possible. And by that I mean that it's good to have a fixed schedule. It's good to have some time for exercise. It is good to have very clear designated eating times, that these are the food timings, where the whole family can get together. And then it is also good to have, to plan a time for, unwinding and for relaxation. Because if you do, and if you are achieving something in the day, then this whole thing that, oh, where is my life going, what is happening, that does not strike you that badly. And so and also because we don't know that when will the schools reopen, and when will things get back to normal. So also encourage your children to study. They may give you such excuses that, oh, it's going to be, like, we have plenty of time and we can do later. But tell them to make them, to allocate time for the studies every day as a part of their schedule. And I think what also is, important, in which we have forgotten, I think because our lives have been so busy, so we had forgotten this, this very cohesive and very happy family time, where we can be together as a family and where we can do things together. So, nowadays we have, like, too many gadgets in the house, and during such times it becomes much more, I think, automatic to just, to get hooked to gadgets. But I think it's also very important to really spend some good quality family time without any gadgets, and think of ways in which you can do that, in which you can have, meaningful discussions, in which you could play some indoor games, in which you could exercise together, maybe dance together. That will be like so wonderful, because that really creates a lot of positive vibes in your family. And another important thing is, like having, what I would say is, open conversations, because there may be things that are bothering your children at this point in time. And as adults, as parents, I think, because we are so overworked somewhere, that if we get time to sit with a child and we ask the child, all right, tell me what's bothering you, and they start saying something, we sort of, we just listen to them, but then very soon we interject them, and we sort of, start giving them our own thoughts, our own opinions, our own logics, believing that they are much superior to what they are saying. But I think it's really important, when we are trying to understand what they are feeling and what they are going through, to be able to see the world from their eyes, to be able to see it from their perspective. And therefore, I think it's very important to, to really cultivate this art of active listening, where you just sit and you listen, and you let them talk. You let them talk, even if you can't understand some things, even if you don't agree with some things, let it pass. You just sort of keep on listening to them. And if you do this exercise, then after a while, you will actually see that, yes, you can see the things the way they are seeing them. And then, then maybe you can have a very meaningful discussion, because then at that moment you can understand them, you can share your opinion, you can make them understand about things that are, like, bothering you, and that would really make a very meaningful, uh, discussion. So so it's very important to maybe listen more and talk less. We all these days are in a habit of, just talking too much and listening too less. And last, one more thing, I think, um, I think our mind is really wired towards a lot of negativity, meaning that if you really follow your thought patterns on a day-to-day basis, then you see that that the mind automatically has a tendency to ruminate over, what is wrong, what is bad, what is upsetting me, but it automatically does not, acknowledge what is good, what is nice, what is, nice in my existence. So I think it's very important, for us as parents, to encourage our children uh, to learn to feel this gratitude for things which are positive in their day. And I think that it need not be something very big, even very small things, that you have people who love you, you have people who, take care of you, you have a good friend, you are able to talk to your friend, and you have a meaningful interaction with your friend. Even these small things, we should really feel the gratitude for them. So it's very important, and you can tell your children to to maybe do this kind of an exercise where they can keep a small diary or a journal of gratitude, and just encourage them to maybe just identify that any one positive thing in their day, and just write about it, that what was the positive thing, and how they are feeling, and how is and that how did that thing make them feel, how did it touch their heart. And because if they do this exercise on a day-to-day basis, then after a few days they'll actually get the sense that yes, there are many good things in my life also, and I need not really feel bad, I need not crib, I need not feel so upset and so negative. So I think that that's also something that uh, should be done. And then one more thing is there, that if you have to, because I understand that when children are home full time for such a long period of time, that also leads to many frictions, and many kind of small problems on a day-to-day basis. And we need to see that how we can take care of these problems and nip them in the bud, so that they kind of they don't escalate into bigger issues. So one thing that you can very clearly do is to set very clear cut expectations, and also include their opinions in that, so that when you have this set of clear cut expectations, this is something that you agree to, and this is something which they also agree to, then it makes things a bit smooth. I'm not saying that that will solve all issues very magically, but it will really be very crucial to have that. And then if you feel somewhere that they are really moving too much away from this set of expectations, then you can very politely and yet firmly, you can just remind them. And so that they kind of they can get they can get anchored back to it. And also there's one more
Hello.
thing that really helps here, and that's like giving them positive feedback. And yes, you would all agree that as parents, because we are so overworked, so tired, and so frustrated, that that we are that we if you look at what we speak in a day, so there are too many complaints that we direct towards our children. We say that you didn't do this right today, you didn't do this, you did this wrong, you were not good here. But we kind of don't even when we see, we don't very readily acknowledge that you've done this thing right today, or I'm very happy you've done this very positive thing today. And we have many fears around it. We kind of think that if we say that, oh, you've done this thing very good, then we fear that they may sort of become very proud, or they may become very complacent, and they would not work hard today. But it's really not like that. If we sort of tell them that how happy we are, or how well they are doing, they will actually feel much more motivated and encouraged to sort of to do it more often, to do it better, to do it really well. And so I think that this, this thing is also very crucial, that that while we can and we need to highlight what they are doing wrong, we also need to highlight and appreciate them for what they are doing right, much more forcefully, I think. And that's there. And the last thing is, I know that when we are frustrated, it's very human to just fly into anger and yell. And but I think that that's an area where we all need to work on. Why? Because it has many because anger is very twisted, because it always, when we are angry with someone, sooner or later that anger comes back to us. It may come back to us very actively, that if we yell at the child, they may yell back. Or it may come back very passively, that if we yell at them, then they may not study, or they may not cooperate with us, or they may do something very stupid. That's a passive form of aggression. Or it may come as that they start feeling anxious, or they start feeling a little too much sad or withdrawn. So it's very crucial that we sort of deal with anger, and sort of so that it really does not follow it's not there routinely in our home. That's very important. So in a nutshell, we need to really focus on positives in our life, encourage the children to focus on the positives in their life. We need to encourage them to really see that if they feel that the situation is really bad, is it really so bad, or are they thinking that it's too bad, when it isn't. It is just something that can be taken care of. And then it's important to to encourage them to feel gratitude for something positive or something nice in their day, and to spend the whole day very meaningfully and very positively, so that the we have good vibes in the house. And that can happen when when we sort of have some structure to a day, and we think and plan in advance that how we can spend the day very meaningfully. So with this, I think I'd like to stop here, and if you have any questions, any concerns, we can take that up.
The parents can type that in the chat, and then sir, you can address that.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so the first question I've got is that how to control the screen time, or how to control the monitor time. Okay, so I think that's something that we all struggle with. So as I said with something, see, many times, with such things, it's very important to have a very good long discussion in advance, when you both are in a good mood, when you are in a good mood, and when the child is in a very good mood, in a very positive mood. So have this discussion and decide upon a mutually agreed upon screen time, and also decide upon this, you can tell the child, so that's the mutually agreed upon screen time. And so if you were not to adhere to it, then you tell me what I should do. You take it, you in fact ask the child that that what should be done at that time. And so you can actually think of all the problems that come your way routinely, and you can ask the child that what should be done here and what should be done there. Then you sort of implement that. There was one question, which I think missed it. It was about that what to do when children are bored. Was that the question? Okay, yeah. So in that, what can be done is, see, because now boredom, what interests someone and is something highly individual, and therefore, boredom is also very highly subjective. So what can be done here is that you can really think of you can think of ways, and rather than you thinking of ways, you encourage the child to think of ways in which they can make their day meaningful, and encourage them to explore okay, okay, just a second, I'm just reading. There are a lot of questions. Okay. 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 Yeah. Okay. 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 Great. Okay. So there are too many questions. Okay. So I'll just try to answer them. And yeah. So about the boredom thing, I was saying that you encourage them to just explore a bit, and you tell them, all right, you can't go outside, for the home, and but you think of ways, what all you can do. And because these days so many good things are available online, there are so many hobby classes, music classes, dance classes, creativity classes. There are so many things that can be done, so you just tell them to explore it a bit. And like someone also asked about that how to motivate them for like physical exercise. Now with that, it's again really important that that something that you really want them to encourage, do it together as a family. Meaning that it won't really help you to tell them that you need to exercise for one day. You just you just do it very collaboratively and say that, well, we all need to exercise because it's a lockdown, and so we all, let's fix up a time, and maybe we can exercise together, or one person can do cardio, one can do yoga. So try to make it like fun, and try to make it as a part of family. That will be like very very important. And someone also asked me, um, okay, yes, I got that. So I have a few more questions, that how to build tolerance for frustration. Someone asked that. So in that, what needs to be done is, first you need to tell the child why it is important to build frustration. You can tell them from life examples, you can tell them from stories, you can tell them why is it important for them. And then once again, encourage the child. You can think of a few things which the child is not the child right now is not able to tolerate. You can you can ask the child, and you can make a list together, and then you tell the child to pick up one thing from it at a time, and then think of ways in which you can in which the child can slowly break that one thing into small steps and do that. Meaning that if they so if someone is like say, if they can't stay away from their monitor, then you can encourage them to to take it as a part of the frustration tolerance activity, and you can fix up an initial time, which is like a small target. You can say that, maybe for the day of Sunday, when you don't have classes, let's see how you can spend your time in a different way than just be glued to the monitor. And that's what I'm saying, that make it very very collaborative. Someone also asked me the question that that how to make the children prepared for the results of class 10th, if they don't come out to be that that shiny. So here, what I think what can be done is that you can And I think that that needs to be told to the children. You can tell them that class 10th is important and these results are important, because in a way, your uh, in a way, your studies, what you choose in class 11th is to some extent dependent on this. But at the same time, once they're given their exams, then you can tell them that, all right, now you've done your best. uh, Now let's see what the results come, and no matter how or what the results come, you need to encourage them that class 10th is not the end of life, meaning that these results, you know despite having whatever marks that they get, maybe they get very good marks, maybe they get just average marks, you tell them that you can still do well in life. The main purpose is to do well in life. The main purpose is to have this long-term goal. So tell them that that is what needs to be done. And so you just tell them that once you've given those exams, you just forget about it, and you just relax. And whatever the result comes, the aim is to do well in life. The aim is to become a good person. The aim is to become a successful person. And you can then narrate them, like, there are so many real life stories, that people who did not do well at school or in class 10th, they did so well in life. So these stories can be told them, and they need to be then encouraged in this way. Someone asked me a very cute question, I would say. So they said that if the children have been insisting on having pets since a long time, do you think it is absolutely necessary to get them? I think that with pets, it's very important, because it's not just a child's wish to have pet. I think because when a pet is coming into the family, the whole family needs to be prepared for that, because a pet is a lot of, in case you are keeping a dog, it's a lot of responsibility. So you need to, as a family, see whether you are ready for that responsibility or not, and only then you should get a pet. Else it won't solve anything, and it will make life much more complicated. There was another question that because children cannot go outside these days, so how to encourage them for indoor physical activity. So as I said, there are many forms of indoor physical activities these days. There are so many apps, there are so many videos, there are so many dance videos. So you just tell them, encourage them to pick up something that they like, and it need not initially be, it need not be 1 hour. It can be, the duration is something that they can set, and the duration is something that they can set, and you just tell them to pick up. And as I said before also, if you do something together as a family, if you sort of fix something as an exercise time, and you say that we all will exercise at this point in time, then it will be much more fruitful. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask something,
Yes.
school counselor, from the point of view of parents, that
uh,
how to create a balance between expecting things from them and telling children to do something and letting them be on their own during this time, because like it's a time of no routines right now in a way,
yeah.
so they can get up late at times and stuff like that, and physical activities sometimes they'll do out of their own choice and mood, and sometimes will not do. So a
Yeah.
lot of instability and inconsistency in some way in the routines. So
Yes.
how to balance between,
I'm
or how?
very familiar with it, ma'am, because as I said that I also have a daughter, and I face the same thing. So what I told her is, and that really worked. And I think that your question is very valid. See, because this being and doing, there always needs to be a very fine balance in it, for anyone to feel happy in their life. It means that all of us, we want a time, we want some bit of time that we can just be, where there's nobody who's pressurizing us, nobody who's saying that you need to finish this core, we need to just be, do our own thing. But yes, because we live in a world, and there's a set of rules, regulations, expectations, tasks, duties. We need to also do them. So I think that during these difficult times, as parents, what we all can do is we need to really pick the most important things in our head. Meaning that if they are taking their bath in the morning or in the afternoon, that really should not matter so much. The most important thing should be that they are eating on time, they are eating healthy, they are studying, and they are keeping themselves meaningfully occupied. As far as sleep is also concerned, see, though it is very good to have like a fixed bedtime, but again, again, things like this, that in these times, because all people really are facing difficulties with their schedules, with their sleep cycles. So I think a little room for that you can tell them that you need to be sleeping around this time. But I think that plus minus 1.5 hours should not really be something that needs to be highlighted. So I think that make your own list in your mind, and just remind them and pester them for the most important sacrosanct things, and not for all small things, because if that really happens, then there'll be a very negative environment in the house.
Yes, thank you, sir. And one more thing, that a lot of parents think that children are nowadays spending a lot of time online because education is happening online,
Yeah,
tuition classes and tuition classes also, because ninth and 10th, so 10th standard
completely
special
agree. Yeah.
education. So what would you say about that? And after that, their own self time, like we say, that being time also they want to be online with their friends.
Yeah.
So anything that you would like to say about that? Is it okay? Is it not okay? How do we sort of balance that? And what
Yeah,
exactly?
you're very right. So you can see, I think that, see, because children, so we are giving them online classes because there's no other option. But if in place of that we take away something that they really like, or which is very precious to them, they will really feel very, very angry, and very, very sad. So I think what's more important here is to just find ways. I mean, you tell them what your concern is. You can tell them that you don't want them to be sitting so much in front of the screen. So I think there can be ways, like if they want to talk to their friend, also encourage them to have audio calls, instead of video calls. Or maybe if they want to, like if they want to just do something online, like so you can also encourage them to find some thing that which they can enjoy offline also. But I think all this needs to be done with a lot of discussion, empathy, and with their choices. And I think that because these are very hard times, so if you have to overstretch, at times, that shouldn't be like, I mean, there's no harm in doing that as of now. And you can also tell them that, look, we can't make it a rule for life. These are very difficult times, and I know you are inside and you're bored. So I'm just really stretching my limits at this point in time.
That's very sweet. Yes. And
Yeah.
we think that this time in India will not work. And like
Yeah.
we also need to be flexible with children, and we need to empathize with them. That, like you said, I think that's a very valid point, that if we expect them to have online classes in school and then tuition classes also, and because of that, if we take away that personal online time, that does not seem very fair to them.
Yeah.
Yes. Um,
I
so,
also know, see, as I say that, and I just, someone highlighted it so well now, and they wrote that, but most of the time their relaxation means that they want to play online, with their friends, they want to play online games with their friends. So I agree that, these decisions, these choices, they are not so easy, I mean, there will be always, but what I'm saying is that that I think that we can't be making a rule that this can happen, this cannot happen. I think that this needs to be really thought of on a day-to-day basis. Maybe at times you can agree to them, at times they can agree to you, at times. So we all have to try various sort of permutations and combinations on a day-to-day basis.
One more thing which is important specifically from the point of view of education and studies, sir. You made a very valid point when you said that we need to ask them to introspect about how bad the situation really is.
Yeah,
And many times we just add a lot of things from our own mind and emotions that, okay, things are bad.
exactly.
We're
Yeah,
sitting at home, we can access a net and we have all the comforts. We need to make them look at that also. But then what about the things that will really, that might really matter eventually? Like, okay, we are in 10th standard right now, so studies and taking subject next year, what subjects do you want to take? Um, Real things like that. In terms of education and all, like some parents have also put the question, how can I encourage my child to study more? So
hmm.
at this time, studying more or the 10th standard result is, should that be the most important criteria? Or as parents also, we can become more understanding of the situation? Or how do we go about that? What should our take as parents be with children on that? Should we relax our limits? Should we be more persistent because children are becoming slightly more relaxed at times? How should we go about
I think okay. So there, what I feel is that because this study more thing can be very subjective. It can be that the child is not studying and you actually want him to study. That's why you're saying that study more. Or it can be that the child is studying but you want the child to still study more, and so that's why you want to say that. So it can be very subjective. So I think rather than that, as I said, it's very important to maybe think in terms of number of topics that need to be covered in one day, and to really have this keep this in mind, that that what's the stamina of the child, that can they do this in the day, and if they do this in the day, will they get time for their relaxation, for their play, for their unwinding. So all these you know like there needs to be a lot of room for understanding also, that where is the child, because see, every child may not be may not be so, because every child has his or her own pace, they have their own way of doing things. So I think that really needs to be kept in mind, and seen.
Sir, what could be the attitude of the parent if they feel the child is not listening? And, that can spoil the atmosphere of the house.
Mhm. Yeah. I think, ma'am, it's very important that when someone is not listening to you, when a child is not listening to a parent, it already means that we are at a stage where there is, where the relationship has come to a particular stage, where there's some kind of a defiance or some misunderstanding there. So we need to, I think we need to really, uh, we need to really go to the root of this problem, and we need to first understand that why the child is not listening. Is it something situational, or is it something that happens often? If it's something situational, then I think then we can have a discussion and try to see what is the child's point of view, and we need to also make the child see our point of view, and hopefully that will be resolved. But if it's something which is very routine, then it means that a it may be in the nature of the child to be like to be very stubborn or to be very defiant, or b that there is something wrong in the relationship that has happened. And so for stubborn and defiant children, as I was saying, it's very important to reduce your list of to-do things and focus on the most crucial things. You can also tell the child that as long as you do these few things, you know like these are the most important to me, so I can give you room for other things. So I think that that will really help.
And how do you think the social media plays a role in today's parenting?
Okay, so social media. Okay. Sorry for that, because I have been responding to a lot of queries around social media. So what I would tell parents is, because we see all kinds of things on social media these days. So I have seen some most, like so some really textbookishly well-behaved children, hardworking children, smart children on social media. So I think that when you see that, as soon as you see that, you get that feeling that, oh, where do I stand and where does my child stand, and you start automatically comparing. I think that what we need to see there as parents is, that what you see on social media many times, see, because that is done with a need to self glorify, so it may be true, it may not be true, it may be partly true, it may be fabricated. So I think it's very important to not really get, like so much zoomed by it, that we just flow into that direction, and we start comparing ourselves and our children, and we start pressurizing them. But I think it's very important to see that that what are the real aptitudes and talents of your child, what are his or her strengths and weaknesses, and to focus on them with this rule that, see, not every child can be a superhero, and normal healthy children become normal healthy adults, and they lead very good lives, so we don't really want, I think it's also important to accept that bit, that yeah, at times my child maybe in many areas would just be a normal child, and I need to be happy with it. Why do we want super normal children? I think we all of us, including me, dream that that we should have super normal children.
Hmm. Sir, some parents have asked that since some children say that summer vacations have started, like for ninth standard, especially, like summer vacations have started, and normally we would be traveling at this time, we would be going out on vacation, and the
Yeah.
parents have also said that children are understanding enough, mature enough to say that I understand the situation, and yet parents can see that the longing still continues to be out and to be on vacation. So I think parents also get very emotionally affected by that, and they also take on that. So the question is basically how to create, maybe how to break the monotony of that situation, which is continuously going on at home for the past almost 2.5 months. That they are at home and trying to juggle between all these things online and not having a routine and stuff like that. So how to break that monotony? Is there something that can be brought in which can help?
Hmm. Yeah. That's that is really very, very challenging, because we also don't know, till when this is going to continue to be like this. But I think that what can be done is again, because because I also feel that there can be, there are so many things that we haven't explored in ourselves, and which the children haven't explored in themselves, so just we can think of, we need to really brainstorm hard, and we can think, that what are the things, we can that children can do by themselves, and we can do together as a family, to sort of to make it, much more interesting. And I'm sure, I'm very hopeful, because we can do many, many things. There are so many there are so many unexplored areas, unexplored talents, hobbies that we don't know, or we never had the time for them. I think this is a very good time to to explore them.
And we also think that one is okay, like we want them to have a better time, we want to break that monotony. But just like
Sorry,
you said,
your voice in this question is not very clear.
hello, am I audible?
Yeah, now you're audible. Yeah.
I was saying that in response to your answer to the previous question, like you said that that hope that yes, something can come up and we can explore interests and stuff like that. And as
Yeah.
parents, we obviously want our children to have a more joyful and more connected time. But do you think it is also good, like you already said, that building tolerance at this time, building empathy, and at
Yeah.
times letting them be that, okay, this is the emotion, it is a difficult emotion,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
be there for that emotion that is emerging, and you feeling it, I am also feeling it, and
Yeah.
yet it is okay. These emotions will
Yeah.
emerge. And, we
Yeah.
can't live lives
Very well
for
said.
our
Yeah.
children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes they have to be left alone, and we can just be there as a calm presence, like you said, being calm, being a role model, that I
Yeah.
also would like to go on a vacation right now, but
Yeah.
this is the situation. So we're all in this together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, yeah. So that's the second aspect to it. That the first thing is that you should try that given your situation, how meaningful and joyful you can make it. But if the child is still bored, you can tell them that, beta, this is a very difficult situation and I'm feeling just the same as you. But we need to just find ways to make our peace with it, and we need to accept it, because I think that that's a very important lesson which we sort of which our children don't learn, because life is so easy and everything is connected through the internet and everything is available at the click. So this frustration tolerance never builds up, and I think that this is a very good opportunity to build that.
Some parents have asked about self-discipline. I think it's a repetitive question that parents have, because we are spending so much time online, studying. I think we kind
Yeah,
of already.
if there's anything like that, that can be done.
Okay, I think we've kind of covered all the questions. Uh, Thank you so much, Pulkit sir, for a very, very calm and enlightening session. The whole energy of the session was a very calm energy, I think.
Thank
Like
you.
you said, in the background of that, a lot of storm, like we say, calm in the storm. So a lot of difficulties that we're facing, the instability, the uncertainty, the way the whole session was conducted gives a very calm feeling overall. And you brought up some very important points, like being a role model and the way you explained all of these. So yeah, it builds a kind of hope that things can be managed, and we can deal with the situation better, and things will come out the way they have to come out, and I'm sure we will all come out as more hopeful and stronger with this.
Sure.
So
And thank you so much. I also equally enjoyed being a part of this session. And I can see so many thank you messages also from so many parents. Thank you so much. It was, for me also, it was very wonderful being here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.